Holy buckets!
Oh my. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today is a big day. We are here right now in the 2019 Ascent. This is Sarah's first time ever driving this car.
It's exciting.
Sarah, even though we're just in the parking lot, tell me a little bit about how it's feeling.
It is, I like the size. I like the size. It feels strong. It feels safe. It feels sturdy. I know that all of my kids and all of our stuff can get in here.
Yeah, so you said before, unfortunately, you had to trade in your Subaru for a minivan.
I did. So
Yeah.
we had an Outback a number of years ago, and I loved my Outback. It was a stick. It was so fun to drive. I just loved it. I never got stuck in the snow. But then I got pregnant with Mason, and going from 2 to 3 car seats was not possible because they hadn't done the redesign of the back seat of the Outback yet. And so we had to go to a minivan. And now my kids are 15, 11, and 8, and we have stuff.
Yep.
And there's no other car really, unless it's a Suburban or something big like that, really, that would fit us. And there's no Subaru that would fit us comfortably.
Sure.
Because I can put all 3 of my kids in the back of an Outback, and they touch each other, and it is awful.
He touched me.
He touched me.
Wow.
Exactly. It's awful. And then they're like, "There's no DVD player in here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this model, and maybe you guys can chime in too, how many USB ports come in the touring model for this? Do you guys remember that exactly?
There's
6.
a lot.
6. There's a lot. Here, I can probably check it here.
To 8?
I think it's 8. Look at that.
What?
See, I haven't even driven this. I haven't driven any of the stuff that has the lane departure stuff on that pops up on the dash. That's so cool.
Okay, so I know the camera can't see that right now, but basically, not only does this vehicle have standard eyesight for all models, all the 2019 Subaru models have standard eyesight, from the base model up, which is awesome. It's an awesome safety feature, but we have the blind spot warning, and now it pops up basically on your dashboard to show you lane departure warning, stuff like that.
Right.
So you don't have to be looking down, from your
Onto the
console,
dash.
your dash.
Onto the console. So there was just 2 yellow lights that popped up and blinked that reflected off of the glass to say that I had not signaled, but I was getting close or crossing the line.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
All right, so I'm looking here at some of the features of the 2019 Ascent, and some of the things that I really like are it's got incredible passenger volume. Like I got in the back there and I was like, man, I have so much space. It has more space than the Pilot and the Highlander. And gas mileage, now word on the street is up to 27 miles to the gallon on the highway, which is just insane because
It is.
you look at some of those Suburbans and those big cars that can fit in everything, and you're like, you're in the teens. Honestly, you're in the teens or maybe low 20s for some of the new ones. But you get 27 miles to the gallon in this.
Right.
Mwah! How's it feeling for acceleration and kind of power? How do you feel?
It's good. It responds quickly. I kind of have a lead foot, and I like to zip around, and I honestly could feel like I could zip around in this.
Yeah.
So there's no issue whatsoever with struggle. I could envision, if having it loaded down with people and gear and maybe even hauling something, that there would not be a struggle.
Sure. Yeah. And looking at some of the competition, once again, you're looking at probably V6, maybe even up to V8. And when I tell people that there's a 4-cylinder engine in this, they're like, what? Like, what? But we're hitting, it says 260 horsepower with a turbocharged Boxer 4 engine. And then the torque output, I'm looking here. Again, I'm not big on like the numbers and that stuff, but 277 pound-feet of torque from 2,000 to 4,800 RPM. So in the lower ranges, if you're towing something like that, got up to 5,000 pounds towing, standard in all premium, touring, and limited models, which is awesome.
It is awesome. And so just that giddy up from, that simple acceleration, that even in, if we were in traffic and like heavy traffic and I needed to speed up to change lanes or something like that, there would be no issue.
Yeah, that's funny. The scientists somewhere are telling me the pounds for torque feet, and Sarah here is talking to me about the giddy up. So the giddy up factor in this vehicle is awesome. We're gonna put that on the spec sheet.
that's the
asterisk can giddy up.
The technical term for horsepower, maybe?
Hey, horsepower. They don't call it horsepower for nothing. That's funny. So another thing that I noticed about this vehicle is Subaru's legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive. Standard on every single model. You can't get this vehicle without getting, from the base model, that awesome four-wheel drive. So sitting here in Rochester, Minnesota, I'm like, it's a must, honestly, with a vehicle like this, and you're not paying anything extra for it.
Right.
You get it standard.
Right. And that is in other cars and other makes, have all-wheel drive. And my other vehicle that we had to go to, the minivan, has all-wheel drive. And I remember asking, so you mean when my right tire starts to spin, it'll just directly send more power there, just like my other Subaru did, because it has all-wheel drive? No. Oh, okay. Well, that stinks.
Man,
so
yeah,
it's different, and you don't ever see a Subaru stuck in snow.
Yeah, that's true.
Go out west, it's a crime not to have a Subaru in your driveway.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're a fan of off-roading in any capacity, obviously you don't think of this vehicle as a typical off-road vehicle. You're not going to go out and primarily be doing off-road stuff in this, but if you wanna, you can.
You can, because you have the ground clearance.
8.7 inches, yep.
So even, not that we have a boat or a camper or something like that, but if you needed to put a boat or a camper someplace, you have that clearance if you have to go off-roads or in the sand, in the mud, in the water.
Yep.
So. Yeah,
and I'm looking here too. It looks like you mentioned cargo earlier, and all your kids have stuff. It's just stuff, 86.5 cubic feet of cargo space with the second and third row seats folded, which is awesome. So basically you get a pickup there and back, and you got more room. It says than the Honda Pilot, than the Highlander, the Explorer, the Pathfinder, and the Santa Fe. The Ascent has more volume for cargo, which is awesome.
So what that means that you and one other person can go to IKEA and buy a crap ton of stuff.
Don't tell my wife.
And you don't have to have it sent, or you don't have to strap it to the hood.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you can do that because there are the standard rails on top.
Yep.
So, say you and another person want to fill up the whole car, you got some more, put it on top on those rails, and there you are. They're standard with the premium and the limited and touring models, I believe, as well. Is there a premium model for this?
Flip the rear view mirror just out of humor. So on the bottom there, flip that.
Holy buckets!
Oh my gosh!
Now, is only on the touring though?
Yes.
Okay.
So right now we are in the touring model,
That's a total
and Christian just did a magic trick with us. So there is another feature that the Ascent has is stadium seating. So I noticed when I went into that back row, normally if you're in just a regular SUV third row, you're not seeing anything out of the front because you're just so low down and everything in front of you. But with the Ascent, it has what's called stadium seating. So when you're in that back row, you can see out the front and you can kind of see everything, which is an awesome feature for family. Now, what that doesn't allow is great visibility for the driver out of the back window because the passengers are up so high. So you just flip this and you've got
full
panoramic camera for the back. I'm speechless.
Of what's behind me, not just when I back up. It's while I'm driving, I have a camera. I can see exactly what's coming up behind me. That there's a Honda minivan.
Yeah. So, if you're in mom mode, Sarah, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you need to have a view of the back. You got your mirror there.
Right.
But if you're just driving by yourself and you want pure 360, well, not 360. If you want great visibility, you got that.
Yeah,
which is sweet.
That's awesome. And now it's off. Cool.
And now it's just normal, which is great. How do you feel about the visibility in general? You know,
Good.
blind spots, things like that.
With the eyesight, there's this automatic sense of, I've got this. You know, I love
Sure.
the blind spot detection piece
Mhm.
of it, and then the lane departure warning piece as well. But this has great visibility, has great lines, and you know, that's just one of the things too for all of the Subarus is there is a lot of glass.
Yep.
There's a lot of glass.
Yep, it's that fishbowl that's so nice. So to speak a little bit about this interior, we are in the touring model right now, which just has this awesome smooth leather. Oh, it looks like a dream. There's kind of this wood looking finish here. I feel like I'm in a luxury car, honestly, and it's ridiculous to me. It is honestly ridiculous to me that this is starting at $3,100 or $31,000. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable to me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my turn. All right, so I am initially very impressed by the handling of this. The turn is super easy, super smooth, and it's super quiet as well. I'm not hearing a lot of engine noise, and I feel like, I mean, obviously, first of all, it's the boxer engine that doesn't have a lot of vibration and noise, but then it's also a 4-cylinder, so you don't have a big old V8 in this thing. You've got a 4-cylinder engine. And what that means to you is you're not breaking the bank for gas.
One of the things I too, like, you know, sitting here, like, you know, you got in the car and you had to adjust everything. I have really long legs and I'm really short-waisted. And so I like to sit up high and I like to be able to do that in the driver's seat. But even here in the passenger, I got lots of leg room. I feel really comfortable. I know that my passengers in the back have plenty of leg room, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also one of the things too with, there's so much space and adjustable space, meaning if we need to store something or we need to haul something, we can flip and change the seats. Or if I look back even to putting my family in the car and driving to the Black Hills, we have that ability to fold one of the back seats down because it has a 60/40, that third row will fold down 60/40, and then I can keep one of my kids back there, and then he could be next to the cooler and all of their stuff. And so
Yeah, when I got in here, and I'm kicking myself that we didn't get it on video. When we got in here, I'm like scraping my head on the ceiling, and I'm like, what is this? And then Sarah's like, your seat goes down too. So I like touched it, and I was like, and like, I just think that's super cool.
And that's one of the nice things too, and we say this about the Forester, and we can say this now too about the Ascent, that we have a lot of nice headroom, and then specifically with the new Ascent, we have the full panoramic, even more panoramic than the Forester with the moonroof, which is optional.
The sky's the limit.
Yes.
All right, so let's chat for a second about the interior in here, because there's a lot of different configurations that we can do, right?
Yes. So we can have it. It can be either a standard 8-person vehicle, or it could be 7 with 2 captain's chairs. So you can have a bench in the middle, or 2 captain's chairs. And so the bench or the 8-person capability is available in base, premium, and limited. And then the sole, just captain's chairs, that's available in the limited, and then also the touring model.
Gotcha. Now, how does it work? You know, if I wanted to put car seats in here, how would that work?
So the car seats, now standard across the board is that you have the latch system, and so you have those anchors, those pre-manufactured anchors that automatically go in that every car seat has. You would be able to comfortably get and safely get 2 car seats in the captain's chairs, as well as across on the bench, both in the front and the back. Right.
So how many car seats do you think you could fit in here?
3 for sure along the bench.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So very, very cool. And the nice thing too is that if you have smaller kids that do need help getting buckled in, that are in a car seat versus a booster or something like that, in that third row, that chair, that both the bench as well as the captain's chairs do slide forward, that will allow you as mom or dad to be able to come in and help buckle.
Yeah, and the other thing too I noticed is that when I opened up the passenger doors, they opened up 75 degrees, which is incredible because you can get anything in and out.
Yep.
You know, and you're not cramped into a small angle like you are in a lot of other cars and a lot of other SUVs.
Right.
Very cool.
Lots of headroom, again. And there's a nice little, again, from a mom's perspective, there's a little lip right on the edge of the car that allows you to step up on there, which for me, with little kids with boots and mud and yuck, they're putting their foot on that and they're not putting it on the cloth interior component versus, and that's also really handy too if you have stuff storing up on top.
Yeah, for the top storage as well as washing the car, anything like that, a lot of the guys yesterday were showing that those steps on the side are specifically designed to have multiple steps and have access to the whole top of the vehicle, which is great because it's a larger vehicle, but having those steps gives you access to all of it, which is very cool.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that sets Subaru aside, is like it thinks of those little things. Like, who would have thought that this placement of this footwell thing would be so helpful? And that's also too, interior wise, everything is positioned so that as the driver you can get at all of the devices or all of the gadgets or all of the buttons that you need safely.
Yeah.
It's within good view, and
yeah, I mean, you know, we've all said this, it's been a long time coming, but in that you can say you're not holding on to any features or any design features that are years old and maybe outdated that aren't the best. Subaru has come in and with the commitment to excellence has said, you know what, we're going to do this and we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to give all the features that we possibly can. A lot of things that competitors haven't even thought of and that aren't present in their vehicles are present right here in year one of the Ascent, which is just great.
Well, that speaks volume as far as their commitment to safety.
Yep.
Because the eyesight technology is standard on all units.
Yeah.
That it's not something that you have to buy extra. That it's going to be there regardless. So, which is huge.
Yeah, and we were touching on at lunch too that rear view mirror camera, which is really cool, which I decide I'm going to use now. It is so cool. So say you got the car completely loaded up and you can't see out that back window, which is a problem for all of us. We've all been there. You got suitcases, you're going on a trip, something like that. You have to fill up the cargo space and you can see straight out without having to, you know, crane your neck or try to make a tiny little hole in your suitcases so you can see something behind you, which is just, I think it's a wonderful feature, and I love that.
That's very cool.
All right, Christian. All right, Craig. Appreciate you guys coming down, giving us a little lowdown on the Ascent.
You're welcome.
It's been a trip.